Okay. Hey YouTube. We are back again. So yeah, I'm here again. I'm trying to be consistent. Like I said, I'm trying to upload more, even if I don't have some grand big idea planned out. I think just uploading is a great way to get over that little hump of like this expectation I have in my head. I just want to post. I don't care what it is. I just want to get it out there. But anyways, today's topic happens to be with a little experiment I just did on myself. This is my experience with quitting ZA or quitting marijuana or quitting weed, whatever you want to call it, for 1 week, and kind of the things I noticed, the changes I noticed about myself, and yeah, just some of the things that I've learned over the last week. Okay, so I want to start with a little backstory, I guess, as to when I started smoking weed, or I don't know. It feels weird saying that because I always call it ZA, so I don't get in trouble by the platforms that I'm on. But we'll say marijuana. But when I started marijuana, I was 14 years old, and I didn't become like a crazy everyday user right at 14. But shortly after that, like I'd say 2020, when quarantine hit, it was pretty easy to get away with it without my parents knowing. Sorry, mom, if you're watching. Um, so during quarantine 2020, when everyone would go to bed, there I was in my room every night having the time of my life. And at the time, life was amazing. Like as a 15, 16-year-old kid with nothing better to do than sit at home and play video games all day, that was the life, okay? And slowly that sort of, without realizing it, it sort of just became like an everyday thing. Like even after quarantine ended, I still kept doing it. All my friends kept doing it. I was just, yeah, I was surrounded by people that were doing it all the time. I didn't really see a problem with it. And before I continue, I just want to let this be known. I still don't really see a problem with it. If you like to indulge in that and if you like to have fun and do whatever. That's all you. Go enjoy that. This is just me speaking from my personal experience. But essentially, after 2022 or like after quarantine, like by the time I was 17 or 18, I was ripping it every single day. Sometimes even like during school, like I'd go home at lunchtime, rip it, go back to school and do all my classes. And yeah, that was that. And so you can see how this became sort of an addiction. Whether or not I wanted to admit it, I was definitely addicted. And for the longest time, I was just kind of fine with that. I didn't really care. I personally didn't feel like it was taking me off track that much. I was still going to dance. I was still getting good grades in school. I was still doing everything I thought I needed to do to be like a productive human, you know what I mean? And not be labeled like a lazy stoner or whatever. But I would say with the start of the new year, 2026, and also moving into my own little place and just sort of living on my own, it's become very, very easy to overindulge and get really lazy and use it as an escape instead of fun and kind of rely on it as like a anxiety antidote, which is the last thing I wanted to do. And then I caught myself doing it, which angered me. So I decided, all right, we need to take a break. We need to take at least 1 week off, which may not even sound like a long time to a lot of you. But like I just said, for someone who's using every single day since like 2020, 2021, even just these 7 days off was very eye opening. And like I learned a lot about myself. So first, I just want to kind of go over what that week looked like for me. And then I'll talk about some of the things that I learned. But day one, no Zaw, probably, I wouldn't say one of the most toughest days I've ever had, but mentally, like I did not sleep at all night one. Was having troubles with like creativity and just finding the motivation. Wasn't really eating that much. Like my appetite was kind of shot. I honestly feel like I lost 2 pounds of muscle since I started or since I quit because my appetite wasn't as good, right? Like I wasn't getting enough protein and I wasn't getting enough fat in every day to sort of build that muscle and keep it going, which is annoying. Day two and three were pretty much the same. I got a little bit better sleep on the second night because I was so exhausted from not sleeping the first night. But the third night, back to the first night, I had no sleep. I could not fall asleep. I don't know. My brain just was not used to not using marijuana as a sleep aid. So without marijuana, my brain was just fired up. I was not relaxing. I had no signals in my brain to tell me it's time for bed. I was just constantly up thinking about whatever and yeah, on my phone for hours. And then like day four comes by and it really does start to get a lot easier. You start sleeping better. Although I was sweating profusely every night, I was sleeping a lot better. I was eating a little bit better, getting a lot more work done, like productivity wise. I felt like I was doing a lot more. I wouldn't really say I was getting any like mental clarity back or like the brain fog is still sort of there. My apologies, I got a phone call. I don't even know where we left off on after that, but to sum it up, day 1, 2, and 3 sucked. Day 4, 5, and 6, 7, not that bad. And yesterday night, which would have been day 8, no Zaw, so would have been night 8, no Zaw as well. I decided, you know what? Let's give it a shot again. Let's try smoking some. Let's try smoking a little joint and see what happens. Not gonna lie to you, it was awesome. It was really fun. It was like almost like the first time I smoked again. Felt very euphoric. Felt no stress. Food tasted awesome. I played video games with my friends. It was a great time. Honestly, I could not help but think while I was stoned, I couldn't help but think like, maybe this is not what I should have been doing every single day. Like, I don't know. I realized that it became such an escape for me instead of a reward. I was using it anytime I felt stressed, anytime I couldn't sleep, anytime I wanted to go do something, I felt like I had to smoke before to make it more fun, which just took the fun, the natural fun out of everything. So when I would do something without weed, I'm just like, wow, why am I doing this? This isn't fun at all. Not how your brain should function. I'm not proud of that. I don't like that. I'm not happy that my brain was like that, but unfortunately, that's just how it was wired because of all these years of smoking. And so just like finding joy in the little things again was really awesome. Being able to just not have to rely on it before I eat, before I go out, like all of that stuff was really fun. Not even fun. Fun's not a good word. It was just more like eye opening. It was refreshing. It was refreshing. Let's just say that. Another big thing that I thought was just going to instantly change and kind of like a learning moment too was that I thought it was killing my motivation, or I thought it was making me very, very unproductive, which in a sense it was. I'm not going to sit here and say that I wasn't unmotivated, but the motivation, it doesn't, how do I explain this better? Quitting weed didn't magically make me the most motivated person in the world and make me get all these tasks done. Which then I realized a lot of that laziness, a lot of that motivation comes from with inside yourself. Like if you are a lazy person, if you're not motivated, if you're not getting after it, that's on you. So weed might very much aid that. It might make you want to be more lazy. It might make laying in bed all day feel really good. It might make you feel less bad about not getting as much done, which then in turn makes you feel more lazy. But the laziness in general is like a personal thing that you have to get over. Like maybe I'm just a lazy person is what I've been realizing, because for those first 4 days, like I didn't really like I said, my motivation wasn't really back. Like I just was kind of still as lazy as I would have been with weed. So I just had to pick it back up and start doing things, because motivation is a result of action. You don't just feel motivated from nothing. You have to do things that make you feel motivated after. And so I started doing those slowly and it feels a lot better, and I feel like I'm in a place where I have a lot more natural motivation now. But I also need to make sure that I'm not motivated by the wrong factors. Like, am I motivated because I want a lot of views or a lot of likes or if, blah blah blah, or am I motivated to do it because I truly want to do it and it's something I enjoy doing? You know what I mean? And so yeah, those two things, motivation and just like laziness, was a big like realization I had, and also using it as an escape. I realized how much I just was resorting straight to it. Yeah, really, anytime I didn't want to face the reality of what was going on, or if I didn't want to deal with the emotions of the situation, magically I feel better, which is not good. I should have natural ways to deal with things, right? Also, think it's insane just how much anxiety I was suppressing. I'm gonna get real with you guys for a sec here. I have been the most stressed and the most anxious and the most uncertain of my future than I've ever been. Like this last week has been so hard just with this mental chatter that I have going on. And for some reason, it's like so hard on myself. Cannot seem to find the light in anything. I can't seem to find the good. Like I'm usually very optimistic, and I understand like if something bad happening, it's for a reason. There's a good outcome. Not right now. Everything like I don't know. I don't know why. I'm really trying to like stay positive, but my brain is just like giving me a hard time. But I almost know that it's from the weed. Well, now I kind of do, because the weed was suppressing these thoughts for so long. So without the weed now, my brain's just these thoughts are rising straight to the surface. And it would be very easy to to smoke a little bit and make it all go away, but that kind of defeats the purpose of why I'm doing it in the first place. So I don't want to resort to that, like I just said. But I definitely don't enjoy constantly being this overwhelmed with my own thoughts. It's not fun. There's times where I'm just like, what even am I doing right now? I know the right thing to do is just keep pushing forward, and everything will work out. You know what I mean? So, do I think I'm like a changed person after 1 week of no Zaw? Not necessarily at all. Have I learned some things that I will carry with me into the upcoming months? Absolutely. Will I become a regular daily Zaw user again? Probably not. I don't even want to smoke tonight. I'd rather keep it as like something I do here and there when I feel accomplished, when I feel like I deserve it, rather than using it as a cop out for my feelings and just replacing the stress with weed and just smoking every time I feel like there's an overwhelming task or something like that to do. I really just want to stay on a productive track. And if that means eventually cutting it out of my life completely, so be it. That's something I have to do. Sometimes you got to ask yourself, like, is this distracting me more than it's helping me? And Me personally, yes, it was distracting me more than it was helping me. And that takes a lot of discipline and self-control, like knowing the obstacles that are taking you off the path, or like distractions in your life, and being able to cut them out or not resort to these distractions, or think, like just being aware of what is making you fall down this path you don't want to go down is very, very smart. I don't know. Like, some people will be going down a bad path. They'll be aware that everything they're doing is pushing them down that path, but then they'll still continue to do it. It's almost like a self-destructive tendency. And it's not fun to watch those people go down that path. It isn't. And I don't want to be one of those people. But I'm lucky enough to have a super strong discipline within myself and self-control that I can cut it out and not resort straight to it anymore. And I know some of you probably have never touched it and probably will never will touch it. And there's some of you that maybe are going through the same feelings that I am right now. Whatever it may be, I hope my experience, like just telling you guys what I've noticed and the things that I've learned over the last week, maybe help some of you, whatever it may be. I hope this video helped in some way. If this is the first time you're finding out about this, I apologize. I'm not like as innocent as I may seem. I definitely did indulge in some not healthy things for a while, but I know nobody's perfect and I'm not perfect. And this is me kind of just showing you guys that it takes a lot of courage to come on here and just be honest with what I've dealt with and the things that I'm going through, because some people can sit here and watch this video and laugh, and that's okay. This video is just not for you then if that's the case, but I just wanted to come on here and sort of just explain what I've noticed. If you're thinking about quitting, or if you're thinking about taking a break, I highly recommend you just try, just even for 7 days, but really pay attention to yourself and your emotions, and don't just try and like numb it. Like, really pay attention to why you feel the way you do, and hopefully you find some answers within yourself, just like I am. Anyways, I'm sorry if this video was really boring for some of you guys. I'm sorry if this is not the type of content that you want to see on my YouTube, but I just like coming on here and talking. I just like being consistent. I don't like that I didn't post for 4 months. That really irks me. We're going to try and be more consistent at maybe one upload a week. Is that fair? I guess just, yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you guys for the support again. I say it every time, but yeah, thank you guys for supporting me, and I'll catch you guys next week for a new video. Peace.